If you directly jump to these are the tips and tricks, then you're not going to make any progress that sense.
I would get some questions. There are official guides, then there are some advanced questions that has been provided to me. But I was sure that I'm not going to get those questions in the exam.
So for me, I didn't have this approach from the beginning, but I learned this through classes that first of all, if you even if you have to trick your brain into it, if you're not interested in what you're studying, you're not going to get anywhere. Even if you're always going to be oh my God, I have to do verbal, oh my God, I have to do quant, I can't, I'm so uninterested, so boring, blah, blah, blah. If you go in with that mindset, it doesn't matter, you're going to fail regardless of your skill set, etc. If not at that point, at some later point, you will hit a barrier in your understanding. So I think bringing in that understanding of tricking yourself mentally to be interested and be oh, I'm going to learn a new concept today, or I'm going to do this thing today. I think that's really important. I did learn a little bit of that from classes as well. I remember Dave Mitra used to say something oh, next week we're going to cover something beautiful like inequalities. And I used to think in my head, I've never thought of inequalities as beautiful. But that's a nice way to think about it. A second thing I think is if you don't understand the basics of a concept, you're again not going to get anywhere. If you directly jump to these are the tips and tricks, then you're not going to make any progress in that sense. So I think understanding from the very basic level is so important. Otherwise speaking, strategy wise, I think it was mainly develop that ability to sit and focus for 60 to 70 minutes straight. That's from the starting, you need to be doing that. I think that's really important. Also one thing that Dipankar had told me to do, the verbal mentor. Otherwise speaking, I don't think there's anything else strategy wise that I really specifically followed. Those are the key things that I did.
The mindset of me was solving more questions is not going to help, but solving how I'm the approach I am meeting. I would get some questions. There are official guides, then there are some advanced questions that has been provided to me. But I was sure that I'm not going to get those questions in the exam. So I have to prepare myself so that if an unknown question appears, how I can analyze that one and how I can start to make a approach. Now, since the GMAT has what I would say, the time and the number of questions, I would say based on that, you get approximately 2 minutes per question. So time management also comes into that place. So I had to make that strategy approach that one. So my mindset was I had to be prepared so that I can solve any unknown questions without any fear. So that was my first point of preparation. That's how I started preparing actually.